What's up, everybody? This is the Arrowhead Chief Podcast. Hope everybody's having a good day. We got a great show today. Got a couple guests coming on today. Before I introduce our guests, um, I want to give a special happy birthday shout out to my man Clarence, man. I didn't say nothing to him on Sunday. He talked about it, but I was so engulfed in our win against
You
the
good, bro?
Cardinals. I blew right past him saying it was a great birthday present. So I want to give my man Clarence, my co-host, happy birthday, man.
Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
So
It's
all
all
right,
love, though. I appreciate you, bro.
all day, man, all day. Also, I want to give a shout out to every morning quarterback. Um, They are a collaborative sponsor for us. They come. They have our podcast on their website. If you look at the bottom, you can go into their website, emqpodcast.com/locker-room. You can see my podcast on there, and you can also see our guests, the Charger Powder Hour podcast. You can check them out. They're on there too. So I want to go ahead and welcome our guests. How you guys doing?
What's happening?
Doing good, guys. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, man, I'm
Oh,
I'm doing
man.
great as well. I'm excited for Thursday night.
Yeah, man. Big game on Thursday night. Arrowhead, Chiefs and Chargers. It's always a barn burner. It's always, a drag out fight. So
Mm-hmm.
be
Mm-hmm.
great to see. So
Mm-hmm.
before we get into the game, let's talk about the AFC West as a whole. This season, in the off season, a lot of moves were made. With our Chiefs, we got rid of Tyreek Hill, so everybody was like, even us, we were like, oh no, what are we gonna do without Tyreek? He was one of our main contributors. We bring in Juju, we bring in MVS. You guys, you bring in some, defensive pieces with Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson. Denver gets Russell Wilson. Raiders bring in Chandler Jones and Devontae Adams. And I just want to get you guys' your mindset on how you feel about the division as a whole.
Um, yeah, I mean, I know personally. I mean, I know Miles will probably have a similar thought, but I mean, I just know for me, immediately it was just like, oh boy, here we go. Like everyone's loading up,
Mhm.
and I knew. I mean, everyone has kind of known it's been the Chiefs' division for the last half of the decade. But I mean, it really kind of gives the competitive feeling of like anyone can win this division. I mean, obviously you're still going to have your favorites and your heavy hitters, but um, yeah, I mean the Broncos. I mean, I know they had a rough, showing last night, but
Yeah,
I think they're still going to be there at the end of the year.
yeah,
I picked them as a playoff team, but yeah, man. For me personally, it's just looking at this AFC West and being like, crap. Like it's 6 games a year for all of us, right?
right.
And that's a good chunk of the schedule, and that means you're going to be playing really competitive football, and like games like Thursday night, and they're going to be really fun ones to watch. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But I mean, Miles, if you want to add anything to that, go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, again, kind of like Colin mentioned when everyone was just like loading up, is like, man, we just put together our roster like we like it, and then everyone else is just adding talent left and right. I mean, we saw Devontae Adams cooked us last week, man. Like that was not fun playing against Devontae Adams. I know you guys will have that experience coming up
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the future, but I mean, after week one, I honestly would go as far as to say I think it is still Chargers Chiefs have a significant, they're significantly better than the Broncos and the Raiders. I mean, we saw the Broncos, Nathaniel Hackett's clock management last night was
right.
brutal. They lost to a team that people thought was going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL going forward. So I still think it's Chiefs and Chargers. One of those two is going to win this division for sure. But yeah, the talent in this division is undeniably just absolutely insane. So
Yeah, I agree, man. It's this year is going to be real interesting. Like I said, everybody loaded up, so I don't take nobody in our division lightly. Yes, we won the division the past few years, but it's a new year, and you guys might say whatever, but no, it's a new year, and definitely it's going to be whoever makes it out of this division is definitely going to be the perennial favorite to go to the Super Bowl. I feel because we're going to beat on each other and we're going to be battle tested to go to the playoffs. Because it's going to be a playoff game. Every game we play against each other is going to be a playoff type game, and the whole National Football League, the national media is going to have a magnifying glass on our division. Every game is going to be important. So I just feel like it's going to be a tough. This is going to be a battle tested division, and I believe three teams out of this division will go to the playoffs.
Wow.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. I look at, I tip my hat to you guys. Like some of the untalked about things. I mean, Sony Michel coming over, Gerald Everett. Like for people that don't know Gerald Everett, the former Ram, the former Seahawk, like that dude can ball. You know what I'm saying? And you put him with the kid that got hurt last year in that game against the Chiefs.
Parham.
Yeah. Like there's some hidden pieces there that you guys got that definitely is going to cause problems later in the season. So yeah, I'd agree with. I don't necessarily agree that it'll be 3, because when you look at what the Raiders are, like that offensive line deficiencies and not being able to put a consistent running game on the field. I don't trust Derek Carr that much yet. In Denver, you saw first-year coach making bad choices, 4th and 5, burning 44 seconds with 3 timeouts. Like, nah.
I don't think Denver will make that. I don't think they'll make that decision. I don't think he'll make that bad decision again. I think he'll learn from it.
He better.
And I just think that certain teams, they take some time to gel.
But I will say another thing though, like y'all head coach, he's a gangster ass dude. Like I think it was like the last team meeting that you guys had. Like he was saying, "Fuck it, I'll go for it on 4th down every chance I get." You know what I'm saying? Like he just has that mindset of can't nobody stop us. We stop ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I appreciate about him.
Yeah, the fans have really grown to love Brandon Staley. I mean, the Chargers have this really awesome video production team that basically it's like an all access, show that they release.
It's like
once or twice a month.
Hard Knocks, basically.
Yeah, it's like Hard Knocks, and it goes behind the scenes, kind of pulls up the curtain on team meetings and one-on-one interviews. Staley just has that demeanor of like, he's committed to this type of football, and I think it shows his players and everyone else on the team that hey, like this is going to be our mentality going forward, and the fans have gravitated to it. I mean, we were just talking on our podcast earlier today that sometimes we're not crazy about it. There was a point on Sunday where we went for it on 4th on like miles, like 25, the 30-yard line of their. Obviously, we're in field goal range, and it didn't work out. We missed out on points, and those are the type of moments that I think they'll have to avoid going down the stretch. And it's really easy to look back on them and be like, oh, just do the opposite. But when you're in the moment, I mean, it's he's the comforting thing for a fan is he's not going to hesitate. We're going to ride or die with what he goes by. So. And I think at this point, fans are kind of willing to do that because of what his demeanor that he's shown.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he's definitely a risk taker. He's definitely gonna put all his chips on the table and go for it. I admire that about a coach. That means he believes in his team. That they can they can convert whatever 4th down that you guys go for. So I respect it. So. Now, a quick question I want to have for you two guys is, it's a big season for Justin Herbert, and after this season, you're definitely probably going to be, negotiating a new contract for this guy. But what are your guys' expectations for Justin Herbert this year?
Yeah, I can start us out with this one. I honestly, for me, he's my MVP pick this year. It's really between, I think the three best quarterbacks in the league is him, Mahomes, and Josh Allen, and I think it's really hard for anybody to really argue that. I mean, especially with their age and just what they've already done. Obviously, Mahomes has the accolades, and both Herbert and Allen have the talent that they put out there on paper, but I really truly believe that this division, especially Herbert, Carr, Mahomes, Russell Wilson, obviously Carr and Wilson probably aren't at that level right now, but I really believe that Justin Herbert just has the arm talent to really take this team far into the playoffs. As long as we don't run into a sticky situation where it's like the first week of the playoffs and we got to go up to Buffalo or something like that. I really think that, especially with the weapons that they've surrounded him with, and now that they've given him a defense, like I think that he's just going to be. I think he's going to be lights out, and he already proved Sunday that he can be lights out. We just need to see. We need to see him string those games together. He had a few points in the last few years where he would have an absolute elite performance and then come back next week and kind of hinder expectations. But I really truly believe that he's the person that's going to get the job done for the Chargers.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to kind of go off that as well. I mean, I think individually now, after 2 seasons, we know what he is and who he is. And now, this is, I think there's that crazy stat out there that's like, this is his like 5th or 6th coach in like so many years going back to college. So every system he's really ever known since high school has kind of come and gone in the blink of an eye. This is the first year of continuity for him in a scheme and a playbook. And just from that standpoint, I think everyone's looking for him to take another step forward. I would sum all of my expectations up with one word, and that's playoffs. We've seen him pass for 5,000 yards, 35 plus touchdowns, win Rookie of the Year, but no playoffs. So I know wins aren't a QB stat, but I think that's the one thing that he has left to show, not just us as fans, but just national media. That's their big knock on him, and I think to a certain point that it is kind of fair, but it's not solely on him. But I think for me, it's just get us to the playoffs and then see how far we can go.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing when you do have a potentially great or good, you have a great quarterback, is that the expectations that the wins and losses, they fall at his floor. If you win,
right,
they give him the credit. If they lose, Justin Herbert,
Yeah.
it's all his fault. We deal with it too with Patrick Mahomes. It could be the defense could give up 35 points and he could score 30 some points, but no, it was Patrick Mahomes. He did that one throw, or I'm sure,
exactly.
it's a gift and a curse when you have a really good quarterback on your team, is that they have high expectations. When they set the floor so high, it's like, all the wins and losses go at their foot. It's like, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, one thing about Herbert, I know, especially, it's mostly the Raiders fans on Twitter, which I think we can all four agree that, man, those guys are something else. But especially that Week 18 game last year, everyone was like, well, Herbert hasn't made the playoffs yet. Why are people calling him a top 5 quarterback? But Herbert was the only reason why they were in that game. Herbert's the one that completed the 4th and 26 for the touchdown on Josh Palmer. Herbert's the one that got them into field goal range several times, and we just didn't convert when we needed to. Herbert's the one that scored with no time left on the clock to Mike Williams. Herbert's the reason why. Basically, let's say if you took Herbert and made him like an average quarterback, we probably won 4 games last year. So, I mean, Herbert's just been carrying, and now that we have a defense, I think the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah,
defense and a revamped offensive line is definitely gonna help for sure.
I noticed you guys kept a fullback. How much did he see the field last week?
He actually caught their first touchdown on the first drive last week. Seventh rounder caught a touchdown on the first drive of the season. You don't see that very often, which is kind of cool. But he was in on every single, when he was their lead blocker for some run plays, and he played quite a bit. We do use our fullbacks quite a bit in the offense, so he definitely. We only carry one fullback on our team. I feel like most teams probably do that, but he saw the field quite a bit last week, and he balled out.
That's
he was a running back at Purdue, and he kind of gives me the vibe of like a second coming. I mean, not second coming of Austin Eckler, but he's just strong. He's super twitchy and bursty. And yeah, he's getting it done. So yeah, it was nice to see him come down with a touchdown last week.
That's good. All right, fellas. Let's get into some key components for the game on Thursday. We'll start off with the offense. What are your guys' expectations for the? What are some of the key components for you guys on offense for this Thursday's game?
Colin, you want to start off?
Yeah. Yeah, we were actually just talking about this a little bit ago. So for me, it's going to be Justin Herbert and that offensive line finding a rhythm early. I think, this is going to be a battle of the trenches and, both sides, offensive and defensive for both squads. But I really, I think it's key for the offense to get in a groove. The second half of last week was very stale and the play calling kind of dried up. And I know there were some frustrated fans on Twitter, but I think just seeing Herbert and the offense put together a full game and finding a groove, whether that's putting up 3 points, 6 points, taking long drives, winning the field position battle. I think that's the key for the Chargers, or one of the keys.
Yeah, I would add on to that offensively. I think we need to attack some of the Chiefs' areas of weakness. You look at the Chiefs' defense, and their strengths is probably interior pass rush with Jones, obviously, but McDuffie went down. He's on the IR now, and honestly, to be quite honest with you guys, Rashad Fenton and L'Jarius Sneed don't scare me too much. So I think if we can attack the corners, attack the outside passing game, I think we're going to probably be missing Keenan Allen this game. It's about 95% certain that he won't be there, which sucks because, third and Allen is like a thing. Like, he's such a great third down receiver, and we definitely missed that last week into the second half of the game. But, I think if we just get the ball to some of our playmakers, Mike Williams, I would trust him going one-on-one with any of those cornerbacks and just giving them opportunities to get the ball in their hands and just see what happens.
Go ahead, Clarence.
Offensively, I would say one of the biggest things is establishing that identity on the ground.
Yeah.
Because you got Khalil Mack, you got Bosa on the other side, and that pass rush wants to get home. Also, I peeped, they've been using Derwin James and moving him around. Like, his usage rate is through the roof. Like, Buddy played linebacker, he played slot corner, he played strong safety. So, like, identifying him, and that's why it's so important for us to get going on the ground early. And the other thing, it puts them in a situation potentially where they don't have a lot of time of possession. So it's a lot of shot plays and, wanting to get Mike Williams deep or Gerald Everett deep, Austin Eckler coming out of the backfield on something crazy. Like, running the ball this week is going to be huge.
I agree. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who had a pretty good game last week, we got to definitely get him going.
Pacheco,
seventh round pick, who had a pretty good game.
A lot. So
yeah, he did really good. Grinding out the end of the game, and also Jared McKinnon. He's going to be essential in the passing game. Him and Clyde are going to be. All three of them can catch out of the backfield, but I believe Clyde and Jared McKinnon will be essential as far as the check downs. Screen game is going to be very important, especially with that pass rush. With Khalil, because Khalil Mack, he looks like he's in rare form early with 3 sacks. So, and Joey Bosa is just another problem on the other end. So, like you said before, Colin, the trenches are going to be important. That matchup between Orlando Brown and Khalil Mack is going to be very important. So that'll be something that I'll be keying on and looking at. And, just, of course, Patrick Mahomes, distributing the football, getting it out of his hands quick. Juju, MVS, McCole Hardman, the crossing, the drag routes. Those are going to be very important to be successful and just, getting, nickel and diamond down the field is something we're probably going to have to do because, we're not going to be able to just throw it deep and, have big plays all the time. So,
yeah, they're not going to blitz. They're not going to blitz that much.
They're probably going to drop. You guys are probably going to drop, or, just drop 8 and send 4 rushers, and
Yeah.
that's been the main ingredient to try to stop Patrick Mahomes in the offense is drop 8 in coverage and then send 4 rushers. So that'll be
Yeah.
something that the run game will be essential in this game for us.
Yeah, I saw a stat last week. I think the Cardinals like sent blitzes on like 2% of their plays or something along those lines. Obviously, they just don't know the formula to beat the Chiefs. I think if any
Yeah.
team does, I think it's the Chargers. I mean, we see every single time we play, it comes down, overtime last week. The game before was a 6-point game. Like it's always a close game, so it should be a fun one.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So, what are your guys' key component on defense?
Yeah, I can start this one. For me, it comes down to coaching, which I know, is kind of separate from the defense. But I think the way that Brandon Staley is going to use this defense this week. I mean, I think obviously when you prep for the Chiefs, it's different from really anyone else in the league. I mean, the threats that you guys bring constantly. I mean, we've seen you guys put up 28 points in a quarter. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's Brandon Staley coming with a good game plan and not putting his defense or I would just say not putting his defense in a bad situation. Where Patrick Mahomes is going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, 100%. Don't give up. Don't let them get short fields or anything along those lines because Patrick Mahomes will make you pay. But for me, I would have to say you got to contain Patrick Mahomes and you got to contain Travis Kelce. Obviously, those are you guys' 2 best playmakers on your offense. I mean, as much as we want to completely shut down the receiving court, I mean, nobody on your team can compare to Tyreek Hill. I mean, Juju looked great last week. MVS looked great last week. Even Sky Moore in his limited playing time looked pretty good last week. But dudes like that just aren't to Tyreek Hill's caliber quite yet. So I just think, Derwin James, when he's on Kelce is very limited in my opinion, at least from what we've seen in the past. I remember last year in the second game in LA, we saw, Travis Kelce first half, I believe he only had like 3 catches for like 14 yards. And then Derwin James came out of the game and he finished with like 7 for like 120 or something along those lines. So if we can contain Kelce, or not contain Kelce, if we can contain Mahomes in the pocket just a little bit better, because I swear to God, Mahomes always has at least like 70 run yards against the Chiefs every single week or every single time that they play. But if we can contain Mahomes, keep him in the pocket, maybe get him down a few times, shake him up a little bit, and I think that's going to take away Kelce as well. So I just hope that we can get after him. Pass rush is huge, obviously.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Clarence.
Defensively for us, I went back and I watched, I'd say maybe 55 to 60% of that Chargers game. The thing is, and it's almost comparable to what Pat does because there was a sequence where Herbert rolled out to his left, squared his shoulders, and fired a dart to DeAndre or what's his first name?
DeAndre Carter. Yep.
And he did it again when he hit Gerald Everett. Like for us, it's just going to be maybe not so much man this week, and making sure that our pass rush stays fresh with that rotation that Spags likes to do, and try to get home on some pressure to Justin Herbert. I would like to say Austin Eckler is going to be a problem in the run game, but Austin is more effective in the passing game. He can get busy on the ground. Don't get me wrong, but the biggest threats this week for the defense, I feel like, is going to be the middle of the field with those tight ends because they have, I think, 3 of them. Right? Is that kid McKitty?
Yeah,
that's right. He's on the squad too, right?
Yeah, but Parham is not playing this week, so
okay,
it's just going to be McKitty and Everett.
I mean, both of them athletic as hell, can make plays over the middle of the field. Everett got speed. Maybe they implement a little bit more of Sony Michel. That's why I was asking about that fullback situation, because you could see it's shifting from ball down the field to a little bit more. We can be physical when we need to, and they're going to try to make this a physical game. So linebackers are the linebackers. Nick Bolton and Willie Gay are going to do their thing, but in the key situations, we're going to need George, we're going to need Dunlap, we're going to need Frank, Dana to be on their shit. They're going to have to get home this week. Like, that pass rush is going to have to affect them.
Yeah, I agree. Chris Jones is going to be the main factor in this deal.
Oh, yeah.
If Chris Jones is wrecking the middle and getting pressure on Justin Herbert, then this game is going to be really close. It might be a low scoring game if Chris Jones is wrecking this game, because we're going to need him, and plus we're going to need, like Clarence said, we're going to need Dunlap. He had a sack last week, but we're gonna really need him coming off that edge. Him and George Karlaftis, and Frank Clark too. And what's going to be very important is the safeties in this game with these tight ends, the Juan Thornhills and Justin Reed. They're going to be very important. Covering those tight ends. In the corners, with no Trent McDuffie, who had a really good game last week. Now that Trent McDuffie's on IR, L'Jarius Sneed, who, we hold him in high regard. He had a good rookie season. He kind of fell back last year, but I think he's going to have a better season this year. But L'Jarius Sneed's going to be very important. And the two rookies that we drafted, Joshua Williams and Jalen Watson, who are 6'2", 6'3" corners, they're going to be essential covering Mike Williams, because if you put a small corner on Mike Williams, we learned he'll kill you. He did it last year when we had Mike Hughes. Every time Mike Hughes was on Mike Williams, it was a first down or a touchdown.
Yeah, you know what happens when you put Mike Williams. Yeah, y'all find out. I remember when they had back in 2018 when they had Orlando Scandrick on him. Y'all found out what happens when you put him on Mike Williams. So
So Chris, you said something.
Don't bring the show up tonight.
Chris, you said something that I thought was a good point, and I hadn't really thought about it. But the matchup between Chris Jones and that interior part of the Chargers offensive line is going to be a really fun one to watch. Chargers went right guard in the first round this year with Zion Johnson, and he had a tremendous training camp and preseason, and really, a solid game again on Sunday. So, whether it's him, Corey Linsley at center, or Matt Filer at left guard, all three of those guys, I can tell you as Charger fans, we hold them in high regard. So that's going to be a really fun matchup to watch and see how Chris Jones affects the game. So that'll be a fun one to watch.
How did your left tackle, what's his name, Slater? How did he hold up against Chandler Jones and Max?
I don't know how many pressures he gave up.
He was on Chandler Jones the whole game, and Chandler Jones had one pressure.
One pressure.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you guys with Chandler Jones. I think his season last year was a little overrated.
Yeah.
I think he had one great game against the backup offensive tackle. Yeah. And then the rest of the way, it was just kind of you really didn't hear nothing.
His first week, he had 5 sacks or 6 sacks, and then everybody put him in elite pass rushing tier.
I think they downgraded from Yannick and Ngakwe, honestly. Yannick and Max versus Max and Chandler, I think, is a better duo. But so, hey, Raiders gonna Raider.
I agree. So that's all right. Let's give our score predictions, fellas. What you looking at?
So we were actually just talked about this on ours, and we gave our score predictions. Obviously Colin and I are a little biased. I'm sure our score prediction is going to be different than your guys'.
Who isn't?
Yeah, I know. Come on, we have to be. If we're not repping our boys, then what are we? But I think that this comes down to a shootout. I think end of the day, I think we all know it's going to be a close game, but I got the Chargers edging them out 27-23. I think this game comes down to the fourth quarter. I think it kind of starts as a shootout. And I think that just one team makes a few more mistakes than the other one, and I just think that they get it done at the end of the day. So I got 27-23.
Okay.
I like that. So in our pod from earlier today, my prediction was, I've been looking at the last couple scores and of the matchups that they've had, and it seems like you're going to have to get to 30 to at least put this game away. At least that's kind of been the case the last couple of meetings. So I got Chargers 33. I got Chiefs 27. My bold prediction that was on top of that was the Chargers win on a walk-off in overtime, hence the no extra point. So I think either way, like Miles said, it's going to be a crazy game. We said in our podcast, every time these two teams meet, something crazy happens, whether it's a crazy play, crazy outcome, sequence of events. Like it's just madness. So I think it's a great primetime matchup, and I'm really excited and also really nervous. So we'll see how it goes.
Go ahead, Clarence.
So let me spin for a minute. So it's a Thursday night. It's on Amazon Prime, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the home opener. I think Staley wants to come out and take this crowd completely out of the game. It's that crowd just, I mean, you saw what it did in punk-ass Seattle last night, and they aren't even allowed a stadium. We are. So I think the Chargers jump out, actually. I think they get 13 to 17 points ahead early. And I think it takes a while to get things going offensively. I think they stay consistent. If they get the running game going, I think they'll start to find some things, and Pat will start to see a couple different things to expose later on in the game. Derwin's going to flash early, I think. I like the score, 33-27, but I would say it would be for the Chiefs, obviously. I do think it's a close game, and we just find a way to come back at home because the Chargers are explosive as shit, and they are riding with a lot of confidence. Derwin's been talking this shit all summer about how they are the team to beat in the AFC West. Like, they are the team to beat in the AFC, so this is to prove it game. This is to erase all doubt in everybody's mind of who's the top dog in the West. And they're going to come out grabbing their nuts, and they're going to bomb us. You know, it's about weathering that storm. So, but I think we got it, though. For real.
I think there's going to be nip and tuck to the fourth quarter. And I think it's going to be a minute and some left. The Chargers are going to tie up the game 24-24. And then Pat takes the field down the field. We kick a field goal 27-24. Chiefs. That's how I look at it.
I'm with it.
So who is your guys' kicker this week? Because it sounded like Bucker might not play.
It's probably gonna be Justin Reed. He was kicking.
Well, they signed a guy to the practice squad.
They did sign a guy to the practice.
I would go get Blankenship. The coach just cut Blankenship.
Yeah, that's not a bad call.
I would get him. And have to tell homeboy that they put on the practice squad, hey, we'll get at you, but we're gonna ride with homeboy right here with these glasses on.
Question is, I mean, that could be important. I mean, is Justin Reed going to kick that game-winning field goal, Chris, or who's?
Yeah, Chris.
I have to, man.
Oh man, I don't feel comfortable. I'm about to turn the TV off. You're gonna give me more break.
I'm gonna look away, but you know.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. It makes me feel better if Bucker's not playing because I know that dude's nails. So
yeah. I mean, it definitely alters the game in like a scenario where Chris predicted is 55-yarder for Bucker is like, oh man, like I mean, he's probably like there's a good chance he makes that versus 55-yarder for a guy who was bagging groceries a week ago.
Yeah.
Or whatever. The nerves might be a little different, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
It's gonna be a fun one, boys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been saying that since the beginning of August. Like, this was the game. Like, there is no bigger game. This one right here is I mean, it's Kansas City Bills 2 years ago. You dig? Like, this game, Amazon Prime kicking off everything, and it's in Arrowhead. And like I said, Derwin, Keenan, they've been talking big shit all summer. Like, we that. This is us. Like, we do this. Like, and you already know the rumor. Derwin says he can lock up Travis. So I mean, like, there's no bigger game than this one Thursday night.
That was on our podcast. That was my bold prediction. Is I think Derwin locks up Travis. I think Travis has under 50 yards come Thursday.
But we got other weapons though. We got another one.
But I'm just saying, I think he's going to lock down Travis though. Yeah, they might use other weapons, but I think Travis gets locked down.
Remember the name Jody Fortson.
Straight out.
Number 88. Remember that name.
He caught one on us last year, I remember. So
yep, he did. Yep.
So, but no, hey man, I thank you guys for coming on the pod, man. I really appreciate it, man. And I know Thursday is gonna be a great game, regardless of who wins or not. Hey,
we'll be there. Are you guys gonna be there?
Are you gonna be at the game?
Yeah, we're gonna be at the game.
Are y'all going?
No, I'm in Vegas, so I can't.
Oh yeah, that's right. See,
we're off work when they kick off.
Yeah, we're from Nebraska, so it's a little drive, but it's like 3 hours for us. So we'll be there, and we'll be excited to tailgate. And
you'll know where you're at quickly when you hear "and the home of the."
I go almost every year, and I hate.
You know what it is. You know what it is, then. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, and the whole chop and everything, man. That environment is electric, man.
Yes, sir. They got the drum deck. Boom, boom.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's a great place to watch a game, man. For sure.
But for real, fellas, appreciate y'all guys coming on, man. Yeah. We got to do it again probably later on this season.
Yes, for sure.
Talk about the matchup when we go to LA. So definitely got to do it again. We'll come on to you guys' show next time, you know.
Absolutely.
Hey, that sounds like a plan, man.
Hope you guys stay healthy through this one, man. Y'all have a healthy, good season, man. Absolutely, dog.
Yeah. You guys as well. And like I said, you know, it's going to be a close one. So may the fastest start win, because I know, you know, it's not about a lot of football left after this week. So we'll see how it goes.
15 more after this. So.
For those who's watching, man, you know, give them a follow, man. Power Hour LA, all social media, Instagram, Twitter, all that, man. Give them a follow, man. And, you know, they're part of, you know, the Every Morning Quarterback locker room. So, I, you know, got to show love, man. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Thanks for having us on, guys.
Yeah, no problem, man. It was fun, man.
Clarence.
Yes, sir.
And that was a good pod, man.
Yeah, it was, dog. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, man, it was a good pod, man.
I enjoyed myself, dog.
Yeah, man.
Thursday gonna be, man, listen. Thursday gonna be out of control, man. Like,
definitely gonna be out of control, man. I'm excited, bro. I'm excited.
This is they measuring stick. Like, they feel like they can beat us twice in the season. Like, they really have built everything out to beat us. The Khalil, the J.C. Jackson, the movement by Derwin. I swear to God,
he's everywhere.
He's everywhere. They even blitz him. They send him on blitzes now. He got a sack Sunday on Derek Carr. Like, this is it for them. Like,
they definitely Pat's definitely gonna have to know where he's at.
Oh yeah,
Pat's definitely gonna have to, when he steps to the line of scrimmage, he's gonna have to know where Darwin James is at, because he can definitely wreck a game. He can definitely be a game wrecker.
But I don't agree with Buddy when he said he think Derwin can lock him up, like lock up Travis. Like, Travis plays on a totally different level of using the defender's leverage against him and going the opposite way. And him and Pat have so much good chemistry together. Like, he know Travis is gonna break it in or out or come back or whatever the case may be. Like, I don't see Derwin being able to contain Travis the way that they think. Because we saw what happened when we went out to LA. He had to walk off. So
yeah, but you know, I mean,
Derwin's cold though.
The argument was that Darwin got hurt in that part, and then that's when Travis started going on.
Okay.
But
I thought that was the first game he got hurt. So he got hurt in the second one too?
It was just the second game. I don't know if he got hurt the first one.
He got hurt in the first one. That's when he messed up his shoulder initially, was in the first one.
No, but then the second game,
he came back.
in the second half, he got hurt in that game.
Mm.
He was out, and then that's when
Okay.
Travis started kind of going off. But
Okay. All right.
but still, I agree with you. I think this is a new. I think this Travis Kelce is, I think he's going to show up in this game.
Yeah.
There's no.
Yeah.
Andy Reid knows how to get him, scheme it up and get. I think the scheme is going to be. It's the same, but it's different because we spread the ball out. It's not so much Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill centric. And I think the routes last year, not to say that they weren't, sophisticated,
right.
But I just think that it got so I can say the offense got stale a little bit.
Yeah,
because it got to a point where it was just like, where's Travis Kelce? Where's Byron Freeman happens to be open. Mecole Hardman happens to be open. Where now I think Pat is more so like, yo, they spreading this thing out. You guys, you know what I'm saying? And I think Travis Kelce's gonna eat this. He hears the chatter too. So I think he's gonna come out.
So do you think he'll have another 8-catch game?
Yeah.
This week?
He's the number one weapon, man. He's definitely gonna have his catches.
See, I don't know. Like, because they'll wanna zoom in on Travis so much. I think it'll be that same formula as last week where we deceptively take our time to get him involved in the game.
Yeah. Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Since Derwin grabbing his thing, talking about he handling him. So go ahead and hold this, buddy. We finna go score.
Hey man, like I said, I'm excited for the matchup.
Man,
I'm excited for all the matchups.
It's gonna be a close one too.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be
stressful to watch.
It's always a close. I would be surprised if it's a blowout on either side.
I don't think so. Yeah, I would be surprised as hell too.
I would be so surprised.
I definitely feel like this is a close one though.
No, don't get me wrong. If we blow them out, I ain't gonna be mad.
Facts. Talking big shit. Oh, what was y'all saying? Hold this.
If we blow them out, I ain't gonna be mad now.
Hold this, will you?
Yeah. So, but no, definitely. I think it's gonna be a close game. Like I said, I think it's gonna be 27-24.
Yeah.
Whoever the kicker is gonna kick you right through them uprights and win the game for them.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, homeboy Carter, he's so fucking fast. Like last year when he was in Washington, they just used him as a kick returner. But this year out in LA, like last week, he was getting behind the coverage, and I mean Herbert is throwing him on a rope to him, dog. Like, I mean, you dig? Like, he's so fast. He wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they jumped out in a hurry on the defense. You know what I'm saying? Attacking Watson or Williams on that other side. Like, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, that's why I was like, he said he wasn't scared of L'Jarius Sneed. And I'm like, y'all sleeping on L'Jarius.
You gonna know when they send him off the edge, when they send him out of that slot, you gonna know him then because he gonna get to him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
L'Jarius is a good cover corner.
Yeah, he can cover, but there's no better nickel corner that blitzes either. Like, when they send him, he get to the quarterback.
That's why he got the sack last week. You
did what I'm saying? Every time. So, if you don't, and he talking about Fenton, like Fenton give up his fair share, but
he physical.
He it's not like it's a consistent roast. Like, he can play some man to man. You know what I'm saying? He's a physical DB, so it's gonna be tough, man. Like, Willie Gay and Nick Bolton, they got their work cut out for them with Gerald Everett and Austin Eckler coming out of that backfield. Like, they got weapons. That fullback thing is key because Sonny Michel is there. Like, they're gonna get him more involved. He physical. He got a chip on his shoulder. He got let go in Miami when they thought he was gonna stick. You know what I'm saying? So I like it. I like every aspect of this matchup Thursday, dog. Every aspect of it. I just can't.
Man. So the front seven is gonna be essential in this game, man. That if we not getting home to Herbert and he's just out there stepping up in the pocket, it's gonna get ugly. Yeah, our offense gonna have to be efficient every play.
Wick. We got to get pressure. We got to get pressure. Maybe it's Turk and maybe it's Colin Sanders this week. You know, that provides that different, a little bit of oomph for that front. You know, but it's got to come.
I need George Karlaftis. I need Carlos Dunlap to come out there and wreck the game because he has that ability. You know, he may be long in the tooth, but he still got that ability.
Turk had a game when they went to LA last year too. So
yeah, he did. He did.
You know what I'm saying? He balled out that game. It's huge, bro. There ain't no bigger game in week 2 than this one. Like this is
week 2, and then that week was a week 2, and I want to say the matchup when we play the Buffalo Bills. That's going to be a big game too.
I mean, this whole entire stretch though.
Oh man, we got a gauntlet, bro.
Yeah, this is nuts, man. Like you got the Chargers, then you turn around, you go to Indy, then you got to go to Tampa before you come back home to play the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? And then you, after the Raiders, then you get Buffalo coming to town.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whoever made this schedule was not doing the Chiefs no favors this year.
At all.
Zero. This is going to be rough, bro. This is going to be a challenge. But they built for it. That's why training camp was as hard and as grueling as it was. And I was reading an article, I think it was from Clyde. Clyde was saying, you know, everybody on the team was feeling like Andy was trying to break them. You know what I mean? He was like, is he trying to break us? Like, it's too hard. You know what I'm saying? It's a grind. He's like, he trying to break us? And he's like, yeah, because we know what's coming. You know what I'm saying? We know what we got to deal with.
That's why he had one of the hardest training camps, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to have to dig deep in these games, man.
Yes.
That's why we doing this. We're going to try to get y'all conditioned to it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy this year.
But on the real, like, aside from what you got Devontae leaving Green Bay, going to Las Vegas. You got Rick leaving Kansas City to go to Miami. Aside from that, like, there wasn't, unless I'm wrong, there wasn't a whole lot of big name offensive pieces moving, more so as there was big name defensive pieces moving.
Oh yeah, that's what you know. Chargers brought. I mean, other than Russell Wilson going to Denver, you know, that's the big probably offensive piece. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, Russell Wilson and Devontae Adams were the three major pieces going to you know, Raiders and Denver. Yeah. But other than that, it was mostly defense. Defense for us, you know, we loaded up on defense with all the rookies, and then Justin Reed was our big, you know, big name acquisition this year. So, it's mostly defense, and because we know you're gonna need some defense to compete with these offenses that's in this division. You know, say what you want about the Raiders defensively, offensively, they're still the lead.
They're a juggernaut.
And say what you want. I mean, they didn't, you know, the Chargers, they won the game, but they didn't score 30 or 40 on them.
It was 24-19.
Yeah, it was a close game. So the defense did something.
Yeah. That score, they had this. I think the Chargers was only up like by maybe 7 going in the half. Like, it was a slow nip-tuck ball game. Carr turned the football over 2 consecutive drives, I believe, and then they was able to break out a little bit more.
Because he was so enamored to get the ball to Devontae Adams, and it's like
force feeding them.
That's what happened with Aaron Rodgers a lot. Like, Aaron Rodgers was so good, and you can't help it. Devontae Adams is probably the best receiver in the league, you know. So
he's the best
in the ball, but you also want to use that to your advantage to get the ball. You got Waller, you got a hint to run from, like.
Yup. You got Josh Jacobs coming out of the backfield for whatever that's worth. You got Bolden that came over from the Patriots with him.
They got that kid. Then they got that kid, Zaire White.
Yeah, for Georgia.
Yeah, the other running back. So
they got some weapons over there. They got a nice tight end duo with Waller and 87. I can't remember homeboy name, but Yeah, they get him the ball. He can slide too.
Yeah. So
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, definitely is a lot of it's
Yeah,
gonna be a crazy season, man. It's gonna be
yeah,
crazy. So.
yeah. It ain't gonna be for the faint of heart. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a lot of fans mad this year. A lot of them. A lot of close games. A lot of I didn't see this shit happening. Like
Yeah,
AFC is built different this year.
yeah, I agree.
Entirely different.
All right, Clarence, man, let's go ahead and land this thing, man. Like I said, a dope pod today, man. Whoever's out there watching, man, I appreciate y'all watching the live today, man.
Man, we love
Thank
y'all,
you,
man.
thank
Appreciate
y'all
you.
for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification button if you're on YouTube. If you want to follow us on social media, man, you see the tag up top at AH Chief Podcast. Follow us. We'll follow you back. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, any social media platform, TikTok, Facebook.
We do the TikTok.
Yeah, we even got TikTok. Follow us on there, man. Check us out, man. And we'll definitely follow you guys back. And if you just want to hear the audio of us, you can hear us on Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, Breaker, Apple, Google, all of them. We're all on all of the streaming apps platforms. So check us out and subscribe to us, man, and rock with us for the whole season, man.
So we locked in.
We here, man. And let's get this win on Thursday, Chiefs Kingdom.
Yes, sir.
I wanna do the post games with a smile on my face. I don't want to be looking like this,
You know what I'm saying?
I want to be sad.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely.
So yeah, check us out for the post game, man.
Let's get it.
After the game, man, we're gonna talk about the game and everything, and take it from there, man. So till next time, Chiefs Kingdom. Clarence, you got anything?
Nah. Let's get to Thursday. Let's do this. Like Brutus. You feel me?
Man. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we gone. Go Chiefs.